the national anthem. Pranam, warm regards and a very good morning. On behalf of the High Court of Orissa, we extend our warm greetings to the President of India on this momentous occasion for the valedictory ceremony of the 75th year of the High Court of Orissa. It's a great honor and privilege to have the august presence of the Honorable President of India, Srimati Droupadi Murmu ji. We are also privileged to have amongst us the Honorable Governor of Odisha, Professor Ganeshi Lal, Dr. Justice S. Murlidhar, Chief Justice, High Court of Orissa, Justice Subhashish Talapatra, Judge, High Court of Orissa, Shri Jagannath Sarka, Minister of Law, ST and SC Development, Minorities and Backward Classes Welfare, Government of Odisha, Shri Ashok Parija, Advocate General Odisha, and Shri Dharanidhara Naik, President, High Court Bar Association on the dais. इंडोर स्टेडियम के इस प्रांगण की शोभा बढ़ा रहे सभी न्यायाधीशों, पूर्वतन न्यायाधीशों, श्रद्धास्पद गणमान्य व्यक्तियों का हम हार्दिक अभिनंदन करते हैं. Today is an auspicious day in the history of High Court of Orissa. On this momentous occasion, may I now humbly request Dr. Justice S. Murlidhar, Chief Justice, High Court of Orissa, to kindly present his welcome address to the august gathering.
Pranam, Vande Utkala Janani. A very warm good morning to everyone present. It gives me great pleasure to welcome in our midst our beloved President of India, Honorable Srimati Droupadi Murmu. Today, the High Court of Orissa completes the 75th year of its existence as a constitutional authority, delivering justice to the people of Odisha. By gracing this very special occasion with her presence, the first citizen and the proud daughter of Odisha has gladdened the hearts of every one of the judges, past and present, the judicial officers, the lawyers, the law clerks, employees, and the entire judicial fraternity present here, and those watching the live streaming of these proceedings online. What can be more befitting for this historic moment than to have the holder of the highest constitutional office and as the executive head and the appointing authority of each of the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Courts preside over this function. Madam President, you are an inspiration to the crores of your fellow citizens and millions of Odias by your life's own work and experience, which has witnessed many a challenge, which you have overcome with great inner strength and grace. May I, with your kind permission, congratulate you on successful completion of 1 year of holding the highest office in the country. The High Court of Orissa is grateful to you for having very kindly agreed to be the chief guest and deliver the keynote address on this momentous occasion. This is a moment to cherish for each one of us. On behalf of the High Court of Orissa, I extend a hearty welcome to our beloved Governor, Honorable Professor Ganeshi Lal ji. His presence on this very important event in the history of the judiciary in Odisha signifies the immense regard in which he holds the High Court. Only in February this year, the Honorable Governor was kind enough to inaugurate the Museum of Justice, and his inspiring words on that occasion have been a great source of strength and encouragement to us. We are privileged, sir, to have you participate in this function. We happily welcome Shri Jagannath Sarka, Honorable Minister of Law, ST and SC Development, Minorities and Backward Classes Welfare, Government of Odisha, who has been requested by the Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha to represent him on this occasion. Indeed, sir, we are honored to have you in our midst. In the evolution and growth of the High Court of Orissa, many of its stalwart judges and lawyers have played a significant role. Representing the bar in Odisha, we have with us on the dais Shri Ashok Parija, the Learned Advocate General of Odisha, who is its senior most law officer, and Shri Dharanidhar Nayak, Learned Senior Advocate and President of the Orissa High Court Bar Association. I warmly welcome on this occasion on behalf of the High Court of Orissa. On this important occasion, I welcome my colleague judges and their spouses, former judges of the High Court of Odisha, learned senior advocates and members of the bar, Chief Secretary, Government of Odisha, and the officers of the government present here, officers of the President's Secretariat, New Delhi, and the Governor's Secretariat, Director General of Police, Commissioner of Police and other police officials, the Chief Postmaster General, Odisha Circle, and all officers from the Department of Posts, the Collector Cuttack, the judicial officers, officers of the High Court Registry led by the Registrar General, officials and representatives of the print and electronic media, and all ladies and gentlemen present. The High Court's judicial history commenced in 1916 when the Circuit Bench of the Patna High Court began holding its sittings in Cuttack. Even before the Constitution of India could be formally brought into force, the Orissa High Court Order 1948 was published on 30th April 1948. The first 4 judges of the High Court of Orissa, including the first Chief Justice, Shri Birakishore Rai, took their oaths of office on 26 July 1948. It was a historic moment. The pendency then was around 2,000 cases. In 1978, the sanction strength of the judges rose to 8. The number of pending cases rose to 7,057. In 2022, this High Court had a working strength of 24 judges, the highest ever in its history. In 2022, the High Court disposed of 1,36,599 cases and delivered 2,118 judgments. The district judiciary, with a current strength of 808 judges, disposed of in 2022 5,15,392 cases and delivered 1,61,263 judgments. The High Court of Orissa has been in the forefront as regards the adaptation of technology to improve access to justice. In the last 2 years, each of the branches, both judicial and non-judicial in the High Court, have been refurbished with an entirely new ambience and decor. In the High Court today, on the administrative side, the non-judicial branches and the Chief Justice's Secretariat are all paperless with the adoption of the Odisha Judicial Workflow Automation System. Other measures include opening of vulnerable witness deposition centers in every one of the 30 districts, virtual courts of the High Court in 20 districts, introduction of paperless courts in the High Court and the district courts, e-filing, provision of e-libraries for district court lawyers, and many such measures. Through all these measures, the judiciary in Odisha is witnessing a transformation in a positive way and creating a working atmosphere that incentivizes higher productivity of the judges and staff, both in the High Court and the district courts. The complete cooperation and assistance, both in terms of provision of infrastructure and finance by the state government, has contributed to this in no small measure. Odisha is perhaps the only state to have an exclusive judicial infrastructure management agency. In the 75th year of the High Court, we've been able to launch new projects and schemes, hold 2 national conferences, one on digitization and paperless courts, and the other on judicial history, and hold a number of events, including those involving former judges whom we honored in this very venue on 8th April of this year, lawyers, law clerks, our staff, our judicial officers, and law students. Today's is the fitting finale of the 75th year celebration of the Orissa High Court. The institution is moving ahead, strengthened by the confidence that the coming generation of judges and lawyers are committed to carrying forward the constitutional vision of delivering fair and equal justice to the people of Odisha. Madam President, the High Court is aware that issues of justice to the poor and the marginalized are close to your heart. On behalf of the High Court and the district judiciary, we assure you that we will make every effort to reduce the waiting time of litigants, especially the poor and vulnerable ones, in the court of justice. The High Court is a people's institution and is committed to delivering on the constitutional promise of justice to the people of Odisha without fear or favor, affection or ill will. I shall not take much more time, but before I conclude, I want to say, Mahamihim Bharatara Rashtrapati Mahodaya, Manebar Rajyapal Odisha, Manebar Mantri, एवं एठारे उपस्थित थिभा समस्त अतिथि भाई ओ भावनो मानंकु मु ओडिशा उच्च न्यायालय तरफरु यही शुभ अवसर रे हार्दिक ओ हृदयर स्वागत जनाउछि एवं अशेष अशेष धन्यवाद दाउछि। जय हिंद।
Thank you, sir, for the warm welcome extended to our guests. As a token of our reverence and gratitude, may I now request Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar, Chief Justice, High Court of Orissa, to kindly present a shawl and a memento to the Honorable President of India, Srimati Droupadi Murmu ji. May I also request Shri Dharanidhara Naik, President, High Court Bar Association, to felicitate the Honorable President of India. As a token of our humble appreciation and respect, may I now request Justice Subhashish Talapatra, Judge, High Court of Orissa, to kindly present a shawl and a memento to the Honorable Governor of Odisha, Professor Ganeshi Lal. May I now request Shri Ashok Parija, Advocate General Odisha, to kindly present a shawl and a memento to Shri Jagannath Sarka, Minister of Law, Government of Odisha. Now is the time for release of the souvenir of the High Court of Orissa. I would now request Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar, Chief Justice, High Court of Orissa, to kindly present the first copy of the souvenir to the Honorable President of India. I would also request other dignitaries on the dais to join with Honorable President Madam for release of the souvenir. The souvenir celebrating the 75 glorious years of the establishment of the High Court of Orissa contains messages from the Honorable President of India, Honorable Prime Minister of India, Honorable Governor of Odisha, Honorable Chief Justice of India, Honorable Minister of State for Law and Justice. Now, I would like to request Shri Subhendu Swai, Chief Postmaster General, Odisha Circle, to come to the dais and present the first album to the Honorable Governor of Odisha for release, and to hand over the first album to the Honorable President. I would also request the Honorable Governor of Odisha and other dignitaries on the dais to join with Honorable President Madam for releasing of the commemorative postage stamp. The commemorative postage stamp encapsulates the very essence of justice and the profound impact the High Court has had on the lives of the countless individuals. High Court of Orissa is the 9th High Court in India for which the commemorative postage stamp has been released. It is the seventh institutional building in Odisha for which the commemorative postage stamp has been issued. High Court of Orissa expresses its sincere thanks to the Department of Posts for releasing the commemorative postage stamp on this occasion. Thank you. May we now request Shri Jagannath Saraka, Honorable Minister of Law, ST and SC Development, Minorities and Backward Classes Welfare, Government of Orissa, to kindly address the gathering. Sir.
समस्तंको मोर नमस्कार। आज अनुष्ठित होता उच्च न्यायालय 75तम प्रतिष्ठा दिवस समारोह उद्यापन अवसर आम गहन उपस्थित थिबा महामहिम राष्ट्रपति श्रीमती द्रौपदी मुर्मू महाशया, माननीय राज्यपाल प्रोफेसर गणेशलाल महोदय, ओडिशा उच्च न्यायालय मान्यवर मुख्य विचारपति डॉक्टर जस्टिस एस मुरलीधर महोदय एवं मंच उपस्थित मान्यवर विचारपतिगण, उपस्थित अन्य समस्त सम्मानित अतिथि, प्रेस मीडिया बंधुगण, समस्त को मु आज यही समावेश अभिनंदन एवं स्वागत जनाऊँगी। 1948 मसीहा जुलाई 24 तारिख में प्रतिष्ठित ओडिशा हाईकोर्ट आम राज्यर न्यायिक व्यवस्था को अनेक परिवर्तन आनी पारी। साधारण जनता यह द्वारा बहुमात्रा उपकृत होती। न्याय प्रदान क्षेत्र में मान्यवर ओडिशा हाईकोर्टर गुरुत्वपूर्ण अवदान रही। आमे भारतवासी विशेष भाव गर्वित कि आम गणतंत्र समयक्रमे मजबूत एवं अधिक सफल होइछे। एथिपाई व्यवस्थार प्रत्येक स्तंभर गुरुत्वपूर्ण योगदान रही। संविधान व्यवस्था अनुसार लोकसभा, विधानसभा, कार्यनिर्वाही एवं न्यायपालिका सर्वदा लोकों कल्याण पाई उत्तरदायी। यही दायित्व निष्ठार सहित पालन करने हेउची आमर प्रधान कर्तव्य। साधारण गरीब खटिकिया लोकों पाखरे ए समस्त व्यवस्था सुविधा रे अल्प समय रे एवं कम खर्च रे पहुँचाइबा आमर मूल लक्ष्य हेबा आवश्यक। आमे समस्ते जानती कि मान्यवर मुख्यमंत्री युक्त नवीन पट्टनायक बलिष्ठ नेतृत्व एवं दिग्दर्शन जो आम राज्य शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य, कृषि, गमनागमन, अर्थनीति, क्रीड़ा, विपर्यय परिचालन इत्यादि क्षेत्र में अनेक विकास लाभ करिछि एवं अन्य राज्य मानक पाई उदाहरण पारिछि। 5T अभिमुख्य जो प्रशासन गतिशील होइछि। ऑनलाइन माध्यम रे साधारण जनता घरे बसी अनेक सरकारी सेवा सुविधा पाई पारुछन्ति। खुशी रे विषय मान्यवर ओडिशा हाईकोर्ट वैश्विक ज्ञान व्यवहार करी ऑनलाइन माध्यम रे न्यायिक व्यवस्था को अधिक लोकों निकटतर हो पारिछि। आशा करी आज यही शुभ मुहूर्त मान्यवर हाईकोर्ट अधिक संस्कारमूलक पदक्षेप नेब, जहाँफल न्यायिक व्यवस्था उपर साधारण जनता आस्था और विश्वास अतुट रसतु यही अवसर जे माने बहु श्रम साकार करी ओडिशा हाईकोर्टर प्रतिष्ठा निमंते उद्यम करते से आम आज सम्मान सहित स्मरण करवा। जो जगजन्म महापुरुष वो व्यक्ति विशेष ओडिशा हाईकोर्टर बार और बेंचर सुनाम अर्जन करी न्यायिक व्यवस्था को अधिक क्रियाशील करिपारिछन्ति। सेमानक प्रति विनम्र श्रद्धांजलि जनाऊँगी एवं न्यायपालिका सहित जड़ित समस्त व्यक्ति को यही कार्यक्रम आयोजन कर धन्यवाद एवं समस्त को नमस्कार करी मोर वक्तव्य सांग करुछि। वंदे उत्कल।
Thank you, sir. It is now with immense pleasure and gratitude we welcome the Honorable Governor of Odisha, Professor Ganeshila, to address the august audience. Sir.
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भवतु मे। मैंने महसूस किया कि हर नज़र जिनके दर्शन करने को ललायित है, उत्सुक है, प्रतीक्षारत है, ऐसे आदि शक्ति की संतान मेरे महान भारत की महामहिम राष्ट्रपति महोदया जी, इस युग को अपनी मुस्कान लुटाते फिर रहे ऐसे हमारे सबके प्रिय ऑनरेबल चीफ जस्टिस डॉक्टर एस मुरलीधर जी, ऑनरेबल जज पात्रा जी, मेरे परम स्नेही मित्र, मेरी सरकार में मंत्री श्रीयुक्त जगन्नाथ जी, आदरणीय श्री अशोक परिजा जी, बार काउंसिल के ऑनरेबल प्रेसिडेंट, and you the manifestations of Chitraratha sitting before me, Ashwatatha, Brikshana, Devarishinam Chanarada, Gandharvanam, Chitraratha, Siddhanam. You are the Chitraratha of this present land, you see, this planet, you see. I salute you with my folded hands, you see. Whatever I have learned from all of you see, all the doctrines which have been enshrined in the scriptures, maybe the New Testament, maybe Quran, maybe Gita, the Vedas, by the sages, the seers and the saints of the world at large. All the rules and the principles which have been so constituted in the constitution of the different countries, all the arrangements which have been so formulated in the judiciary, in the executive, in the legislature, etc., for a smooth interaction, for an absolute harmony between man, nature, science, and God, fall under the ambit of the rule of law. Now, this rule of law becomes a teasing illusion if it is not accessible to the people at large. It is also of a teasing nature, the different courts of the different laws. But more so, leaving aside all these things, when it becomes a selective principle of law, then there is nobody to save the planet, you see. So as far as the rule of law is concerned, that simply means performing the ordained duty as an entity in evolution, culminating in God as a superman, deciphering the mystery of creations, preservations, destructions, and helping us to accept the wise dictum that thy will be done. We are basically the servitors of the transcendence, you see. Transcendental servitors we are. And the maximum depends upon you, you see. As the Supreme Court is said to be the conscience keeper of the independent world, you see. The Constitution also recognizes the intrinsic relation between judicial administration and administration for justice also. But judicial administration becomes, if free, fair, speedy, then it becomes judicial justice administration, you see. The world at large, you see, is gripped with the selective principle of law. It happened in the times of Mahabharata also, say. Bhishma was a selective principle of law. He was devoted just to Hastinapur. Karna's rule of law was nothing else but Duryodhana. Dronacharya's rule of law was Ashwathama. And therefore all these persons may be having Ichha Mrityu Vardhan. They were murdered like anything, you see. Today also in the world, you see, people have their own laws, you see. Duryodhana was himself the law himself, you see. Now in this torn world, you see, conflicting world, you can say, there is one unique person. Fortunately, that is the Prime Minister of India, who talks of one earth, one family, one future, one sun, one world, one guild, conscious-centric globalization, planet and human-centric globalization. The person who speaks very to the world at large, you see, ये मोहब्बत का समय है, प्रेम का समय है, युद्ध का समय नहीं है. So the rule of law must be observed by the world at large. That is what the Prime Minister is speaking time and again, you see. It is called in Bhagavad Gita Swadharam, you see. Also Lord Krishna speaks, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharat. Whenever there is a decline of righteous conduct, I manifest myself in every millennium to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, you see. That is what Lord Krishna speaks, you see, and that is what you are. You are the manifestation of Lord Prabhu Jagannatha. You will excuse me, you see. I of course, you see, hold you in high esteem, you see. You have been just dropped from Lord Jagannatha to this land, you see, to give his blessings, his advice and his suggestions and his verdict to the people at large, you see. Well, that is what, as far as rule of law is concerned, I pray to Lord Prabhu Jagannatha that this divine river of divine wisdom which is couched in you should flow the waters of nirvikarita, nishkamata, nityata, nirlobhata, nirmamata, nirlepata. That flow must be there, you see, and that has been there, you see. So we stand unique as far as judiciary is concerned in the whole of the world. My salutations to you. Vande Utkal Janani Bharat Mata ki jai.
Thank you, sir. May I now request the Honorable President of India to kindly address us and guide us. माननीय राष्ट्रपति से विनम्र आग्रह कि अपने आशीर्वचनों से हमारा मार्गदर्शन करें और हमें आशीर्वाद दें.
मंचासीन ओडिशार राज्यपाल प्रोफेसर श्री गणेशी लाल जी, ओडिशा हाईकोर्टर मुख्य विचारपति डॉक्टर जस्टिस एस मुरलीधरन जी, ओडिशा सरकार आईन, SC/ST डेवलपमेंट, लघु संख्या और पछुआ वर्ग कल्याण मंत्री श्री जगन्नाथ सारका जी, ओडिशा हाईकोर्टर विचारपति जस्टिस सुभाषिष तालपत्र जी, ओडिशा हाईकोर्टर विचारपतिगण, एडवोकेट जनरल श्री अशोक परिजा जी, हाईकोर्ट बार एसोसिएशन सभापति श्री धरणीधर नायक जी, उपस्थित अधिवक्ता बंधुगण, विशिष्ट अतिथिगण, सजन मंडली, जय जगन्नाथ। आज भारत इतिहास एक स्मरणीय दिन, गौरवर दिन। आज कारगिल विजय दिवस अवसर में मु समस्त देशवासी तरफ वीर जवान मानक प्रति कृतज्ञता ज्ञापन करुछि एवं युद्ध रे आत्म बलिदान देथिबा अमर योद्धा मानक मु प्रणाम करुछि, श्रद्धा सुमन अर्पण करुछि। भारत माता सेवारे आत्म बलिदान देथिबा समस्त सुपुत्र मानक मध्य रे ओडिशार अनेक वीर जन्ममाटीर गौरव वृद्धि करिसेंति। सेमानक मध्य रे मेजर पद्मपाणी आचार्य को महावीर चक्र रे सम्मानित करा जायथिला। एही सेनानी मानक वीरगाथा देशवासी मानक पई सदा प्रेरणार स्रोत होई रहिबो। एहीपरि एक गौरवर दिन रे ओडिशा हाईकोर्टर स्थापना दिवस, ये अवसर रे मु समस्त को नमस्कार करुछि, जुहार करुछि। ऐतिहासिक दुर्ग बारवाटी वीर रक्त पिंडे गढ़ा जार माटी मु तांको नमन करुछि। ऐतिहासिक बारवाटी दुर्ग को कोଳରେ ଧରିଥିବା ଏହି ବାଲିଯାତ୍ରା ଓ ତାରକସି ପାଇଁ ବିଶ୍ୱ ପ୍ରସିଦ୍ଧ ଲାଭ କରିଥିବା ସହସାଧ୍ୟୀ ନଗର କଟକକୁ ମୁଁ ପ୍ରଣାମ କରୁଛି ଏବଂ ଆପଣମାନଙ୍କୁ शुभेच्छा जनाऊँगी। कटकरे पहुँची प्रथमे मु शक्ति स्वरूपा माँ कटक चंडी को दर्शन करी राज्यवासी देशवासी एवं विश्ववासी कल्याण पाई प्रार्थना करी उत्कल गौरव मधुसूदन दास बासस्थान को जाई तांको प्रतिमूर्ति रे एवं नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस जन्म स्थान को जाई तांको प्रतिमूर्ति रे पुष्पांजलि देवार सौभाग्य मध्य लाभ करिछि। कटक नेताजी जन्मस्थली उत्कल गौरव मधुसूदन दास उत्कलमणि पंडित गोपबंधु दास एवं उत्कल केशरी डॉक्टर हरेकृष्ण महताब प्रमुखों कर्मस्थली भाव में सुपरिचित। यही कटक नगर आधुनिक ओडिशार इतिहास को नुआ मोड़ देछि। एही ठारे 1903 मसीह मधुबाबू आह्वान क्रमे उत्कल सम्मेलन प्रथम अधिवेशन अनुष्ठित होइथिला। सेही सम्मेलन माध्यम स्वतंत्र राज्य गठनर स्वप्न देखिथिला ओडिशावासी। 1921 मसीह गोपबंधु अनुरोध क्रमे महात्मा गांधी कटक आसी काठजोड़ी बाली रे विराट साधारण सभा जोग देइथिले। ता परठारु स्वाधीनता संग्राम ओडिशार पुरपल्ली को व्यापी जाइथिला। देश स्वाधीन होला परे सही वर्ष डिसेम्बर मासरे कटक रे गड़जात मिश्रण पाई गुरुत्वपूर्ण बैठक अनुष्ठित होइथिला। सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल एवं डॉक्टर महताब सही प्रक्रियार प्रमुख कर्णधार थिले। यह भारत रे देशीय राज्यगुड़िकर मिश्रण क्षेत्र रे एक महत्वपूर्ण पदक्षेप थिला। सज्जन मंडली ओडिशा उच्च न्यायालय 75 वर्ष पूर्ति अवसर में आयोजित उद्यापनी उत्सव में जोगदे मु बहुत खुशी। आज एठारे उच्च न्यायालय उपर आधारित स्मारक डाक टिकट उन्मोचित हैला। यह आम समस्त आनंदर दिन एवं आनंदर कथा मध्य। एथिपाई भारत सरकार जोगाजोग मंत्रालय एवं एथि सहित संपृक्त टीम को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देउछि। सेहीपरि उच्च न्यायालयर स्मरणिका उन्मोचित हेबा मध्य आनंदर कथा। I am delighted to be in your midst today. I am happy not only because the Odisha High Court is celebrating its 75th anniversary, but also due to the presence of the galaxy of legal luminaries and other eminent personalities. यही अवसर में मुझे उच्च न्यायालय मुख्य विचारपति और विचारपतिगण पूर्वतन मुख्य विचारपति और विचारपतिगण अधिवक्ता बंधुगण एवं पूर्वतन तथा वर्तमान कार्यरत कर्मचारीगण समस्त को शुभेच्छा जनाऊँगी। यही न्यायालयर सुख्याति और सुनाम पछरे रही आपण मानकर निष्ठा कर्मप्रवणता और ज्ञानर व्यापकता। तेणु आपण माने प्रशंसनीय एवं प्रशंसार पात्र। Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, Odisha became a state on 1st April 1936. Prior to that, it was a part of Bengal Presidency and then a part of Bihar. Some parts of Odisha were also in Madras Presidency and central provinces. Accordingly, there was no separate High Court for Odisha. A circuit bench of Patna High Court had been functioning at Cuttack since 1960. The High Court of Odisha was established nearly 12 years after the formation of the state on this very day in 1948. The establishment of this High Court reflected the long-standing aspirations of the people of Odisha. मात्र 4 जन विचारपति को नहीं उच्च न्यायालय आरंभ होता। वर्तमान यार विचारपति संख्या बोधुए एक्जाक्टली मो पाखे जिते इनफर्मेशन अच्छी 33 को वृद्धि पाई। यही उच्च न्यायालय त्वरित न्याय प्रदान करने जो 2 वर्ष मध्य विचाराधीन मामला संख्या 1/4 ह्रास पाई बोली मु जानिबा को पाइली। एथिपाई मु मुख्य विचारपति डॉक्टर न्यायमूर्ति एस मुरलीधर एवं तांको सतीर्थ मानक प्रशंसा करुछि धन्यवाद देउछि। Ladies and gentlemen, any institution which does not change with time lags behind. I am told that the High Court of Orissa has endeavored to incorporate the technological advancement in the justice delivery system. I appreciate the initiatives of the High Court to streamline and accelerate just delivery system through several modern, innovative and technology-driven changes. स्थापित हेबाठारु आज पर्यंत 75 वर्षर सुदीर्घ यात्रा रे ओडिशा उच्च न्यायालय अनेक उच्चस्तरीय मानक स्थापित करिछि। बाबू जगन्नाथ दास, रंगनाथ मिश्र, राधाचरण पट्टनायक, देवप्रिय महापात्र, गोपाल वल्लभ पट्टनायक, अरिजित पसायत, अनंग कुमार पट्टनायक और दीपक मिश्र परी यही हाईकोर्टर विचारपति माने सुप्रीम कोर्ट रे विचारपति भाव में नियुक्ति होइछथि। सेमानंक मध्यरु केते जन भारतर प्रधान विचारपति पद अलंकृत मध्य करिसेंति। ओडिशार अनेक आईन विशारदंक मध्यरे सर्वभारतीय स्तर रे आईन सेवा प्रति उल्लेखनीय अवदान रहिछि। Ladies and gentlemen, the legal profession in India has stood the test of time. It has earned the trust and respect of the citizenry. It stands strong as one of the important pillars of the world's largest democracy. Everybody concerned with the legal professions should work together, expeditious trial and quick justice. This can set free those innocents who are languishing in jail on trivial charges. This is a subject close to my heart and I have spoken about it on previous occasions also. In my long experience in public life, I have come across instances of people incarcerated for periods longer than the punishment stipulated for the crimes of which they were accused. Such delays are a major concern. Due to this, innocent persons lose their prime period of life. The victims lose the hope also as they do not see the guilty facing the legal consciousness during their lifetime. I would therefore exhort all those connected with Odisha High Court to work towards speedy dispensation of justice and set an example for the entire country. सजन मंडली, प्राकृतिक विपर्यय मनुष्य जाति आह्वान आगरे एक आह्वान। प्रकृतिर कोप यार कारण हो पारे। प्रकृति अनुकूल जीवन यात्रा समयर दाबी। भारतीय मुनि ऋषि माने माटी, नदी, प्रकृति को माँ मणुथिले। सेमानंक दृष्टि केवल पशुपक्षी, कीटपतंग, गछलता प्राणवंत नुहंती। पहाड़ पर्वत, नद नदी मध्य जीवंत। मु आदिवासी झील भाव में पिला बेलू पिला आदिवासी जीवन यात्रा को देखी आसुछि। मु उपलब्धि करिछि जे प्रकृति सहित मिलमिशि चलिबा आदिवासी जीवन शैली निरंतर ये जीवन जापनर एक माध्यम। व्यवस्थापिका और कार्यपालिका सहित न्यायपालिका मध्य परिवेश तथा वन्यजीव संरक्षण को सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता देवा उचित। आमे आमर उत्तर पीढ़ी को एक सुरक्षित भविष्य देवा को हेले परिवेश सुरक्षा प्रति निरंतर ध्यान देवा आवश्यक रही। सामाजिक और आर्थिक दृष्टि अनग्रसर लोकों को न्याय प्रदान करने उपरे आम संविधान निर्माता माने प्राथमिकता दे जासिछन्ति। समाज रे वंचित वर्गर लोक माने कोर्ट कचेरी और आईन कानून विषय विशेष सचेतन नुहंती। निज अधिकार पाई न्यायालय पाखरे पहुँचवा निमंते अनेकंकर सामर्थ्य भी न थाए। वंचित वर्ग को किपरि सुविधार न्याय प्रदान करा जाय पारे ए कथा आम समस्तंकर कर्तव्य हेबा उचित। ए विषय रे मान समंथन करा जिबा उचित। विभिन्न कर्तृपक्षों द्वारा यही वर्ग को फ्री लीगल एड जोगाई देवा निमंते पदक्षेप निया जाउथिबा जानी मु खुशी हेली। अनेक आईजीबी मध्य बिना मूल्य रे आईन परामर्श देवा पई आगभर हेउछंती। एहा द्वारा साधारण लोक सहजरे न्याय पाइबे बोली मु आशा पोषण करुछि। सजन मंडली, जातिर जनक महात्मा गांधी आमान को गोटे कवच देइथिले। से कथा आमे माने समस्ते जाने। ताकू गांधीस टेलिस्मैन बोली कहा जाए। से विषय रे मु आपण माने समस्ते जानती मु केवल मने पके देउछि। एंड आई कट recall the face of the poorest and the weakest men whom you may have seen and ask yourself if the step you contemplate is going to be of any use of him. Will he gain anything by it? Will it restore him to a control over his own life and destiny? Uncut. मु आशा करुछि आपण माने न्याय प्रदान कला बेले न्यायर आधार निरपेक्षता को अक्षुण्ण रखा संगे संगे महात्मा गांधी प्रदत्त कवच कथा निश्चित भाव में मन पकेबे। मु आशा पोषण करुछि एवं आपण मानक पुनर्बार शुभेच्छा जणाई मु मोर वक्तव्य सांग करुछि। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत, वंदे उत्कल जननी।
कोटिश धन्यवाद माननीय राष्ट्रपति महोदय आपके प्रेरणादायी शब्दों और आशीर्वाद के लिए। नाउ वी प्रोसीड टू द एंड ऑफ द प्रोग्राम। May I now request my Lord Honorable Mr. Justice Subhashish Talapatra, Judge, High Court of Orissa, and Chairman IT and AI Committee to kindly present the vote of thanks.
I know the entire stadium is electrified hearing the Honorable the President of India. And I stand up just to salute her for such a wonderful, brilliant and thought-provoking speech. Honorable President of India, Srimati Droupadi Murmu, Honorable Governor of Orissa, Professor Ganeshi Lal, our dear Chief Justice, Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar, Honorable Member of Law, Mr. Saraka, Honorable Advocate General Mr. Ashok Parija, and the Captain of the Bar, Mr. Dharanidhar Naik, the President of the High Court Bar Association, my esteemed colleagues, my brothers and sisters, respected former judges of this High Court, the senior advocates, and heart of the Orissa High Court, the young lawyers, those who will construct the futures of this High Court. Central Postmaster General Orissa Circle, Sri Shubhendu Swain, the learned law officers and members of the High Court Bar Association in particular, government officials, and the officials of the Postal Department, Registrar General, registrars, and my dear employees of the Orissa High Court, ladies and gentlemen, as our Chief Justice mentioned, it's a finale. It's a finale of celebration. As we cross the 75 years, it's a milestone, and it's also a beginning of the further journey to the future. High Court requires nourishment from all 8 stakeholders. High Court is not the High Court of the judges. High Court not alone the High Court of the lawyers, High Court not alone the High Court of its officers and employees. High Court is for the people of Orissa. That should be ingrained in our memory, and when we look at the future, Honorable President was just reminding us our fundamental duties and very mindfully reminding us where we are failing. I remember her speech in the Constitutional Day she delivered in Delhi regarding these under trial prisoners languishing in jail. It's a huge challenge for the judiciary. But respected member, we can assure you, in Orissa, through the legal aid system, we are now maintaining jail clinics in every jail of the Orissa. And through the legal aid lawyers, these persons who are not getting bail, we are taking special care of them so that they can get the bail. And you have mentioned, I am grateful for that, that people who doesn't know their right, it is our collective duty. It is not only the duty of the judiciary. Since we live in a democracy, we must learn to live with the citizen, fellow citizen, who doesn't have the minimum knowledge of their right. It is our duty as a collective to impart them the knowledge of that right, and whenever their right is pervaded or invaded, to stand up just their side. I am grateful to the Honorable Governor, Mr. Ganeshilal. It was always a pleasure to hear him. He has the multifaceted genius, philosophy, politics, even to the extent of the law. We also sometimes hear a rancor in his voice. But sir, I can assure you this rancor energizes us to do much better performance. I come from small northeastern states. I lived from my childhood with my tribal brethren. I know the disadvantage, but I see the new aspiration has been generated when Madam Droupadi Murmu acquired the highest office of this country. That we can also achieve. This is a dream spread over the country. I was a judge in Arunachal Pradesh. Professor Ganeshilal has talked about the rule of law. That is the bedrock of the democracy. I talk about the rule of law is not to be guarded. Rule of law that should be nurtured by the democracy, nurtured by its citizenry. I give you one simple example. I was holding a meeting of the Commissioner of Itanagar. He was telling me one experience because he was from outside. That, sir, I was taken aback noticing one certain thing against a person belonging to a small tribal group called Adi in Arunachal Pradesh. Police registered a case. Entire community, believe me, he was telling me, came with that person to the police station so that he surrendered to the police. That is the responsibility of the rule of law. Perhaps more advanced societies are failing in this responsibility. That is why sometimes we do not find the justice is done in time. Our President has stated very categorically the judiciary must listen the small voices of the margin. Judiciary shoulders are not that strong, but believe us, through the public interest litigation, we are taking a huge stride to register their voices so that their voices is heard by the administration, heard by the judiciary, heard by all the persons who have a stake in the democracy. And the number of public interest litigation have been taken by the Orissa High Court, and we are just following those public interest litigation. Madam, we are really delighted, and with this delight I will just urge all the young lawyers, because they are the future judges, they are the future judicial officers, they are the future senior advocates who will guide the High Court, come forward with a sense of the service to the community. If you excel in your profession, you must understand this is a service in the community, because we talk about the quality service through this institution. As a judge, we are always humbled by your erudition when you just display about any law, interpret a law. So far, I tell you, the history of judiciary was in a small paragraph in the history books of the country. But with the change of time, with our tryst with the Constitution, we have taken a major part of this history. And that is why, when we are holding the National Conference on the Judicial History, there is so much of interest from the historians. What is happening with the judiciary? What is there in the judicial record? Earlier, that was not there. That was our history has been reviewed, relooked into through the judicial records. Lot of unknown histories. The histories of the freedom fighter in the state of Orissa are coming up through the judicial archive and the Museum of Justice. You will see how this entire Orissa has contributed to the freedom movement of this country. And I must also remember the people like Madhusudan Das, who was in the forefront of the social reformist movement for advancement and development of the Oriya nationalism. I pay my deep regard in this occasion. They are the torch bearers of the movement of the High Court. I am not the part of the state, but during a small years I share every emotion of this state because I feel I am part of this community. So this is an occasion I have perhaps unnecessarily consuming time. I have been given the duty of giving the vote of thanks, and I stand here for the entire High Court, which is comprised of the judges, lawyers, and our officers and the staff. Honorable President, we have no words. The way you have found out time for this High Court to be present in this occasion, no words is sufficient to express our gratitude. Mahamahi Rashtrapati Srimati Droupadi Murmu, Akina Adigono Mano, Kami Harabagi Kate, Tehen Ale Ten, Oktakin M. Aka, Oneto Ali Hai, High Court Pahata, Kon Adi, Ayoma Sarhole Chal Akin Kana. It's a deep regards to the Honorable the President, and I share everybody's the warm reception for her. I hope the Orissa High Court will continue to get her support in the various projects, and whenever we'll seek her blessings that will be bestowed upon us. Then our very dear is a man of knowledge, Honorable Governor, Professor Ganeshi Lal. Sir, we bow down that you have also made this occasion for us, and your presence always electrify us with various new thoughts. Today also you have spread the new seeds of thoughts to us. We think it will grow up in our exercises. Now, Sri Jagannath Sarkar, Honorable Minister, Law, Scheduled Tribe and Scheduled Caste Development and Minorities, Backward Class Welfare, Government of Orissa. I was really touched by his simple words and his aspiration from the judiciary and the praises he made for the Orissa High Court. I deeply oblige, sir, for your such good words of knowledge. Then I must thank Sri Ashok Kumar Parija, Advocate General. I must say the dynamic Advocate General, who is showing the light to the young lawyers. We are grateful to you, sir, for being present here. And our own captain, I told her captain, because I am from the bar, Sri Dharanidhar Naik, is a part of this celebration. Notwithstanding them, sir, we are grateful for your presence and made it the occasion very successful. And I also place my heartfelt thanks to my brother and sister judges of this High Court who had taken so much of initiatives to make this program to this level. Our former respective judges who are sitting this part, I place my deepest regards because they lift the foundations of this High Court and every day it is advancing. Senior advocates, those are the leading light of our profession, of our institution. I pay my deepest respect for them, and I also urge them to come forward in future to make this High Court as an institution of national importance, so that entire nation look at the Orissa High Court. You can do this. My young lawyers, brothers and sisters, your presence, your company, your celebration, we are all part of that. Thank you all. And a special thank from this High Court to the Central Postmaster General Orissa Circle, Sri Shubhendu Saini, who has taken a special initiative to publish this commemorative stamp on the celebration of the establishment of 75th years of the Orissa High Court. The learned office bearers and members of the High Court Bar Association, in particular, I thank you all for your active participation in celebration of this occasion. And my dear, the Registrar General, registrars, and all the employees, I look them, they are sitting there. They are the backbone of any program of the High Court. I place my deep regard for them. I hope they will continue to do the good work in future also. Ladies and gentlemen, the invitees, we are all grateful to you for giving this celebration a different meaning by your presence. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, my lord. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem. Thank you. Honorable President of India, Srimati Droupadi Murmu ji is now leaving the indoor stadium. I would now request everyone to kindly remain at their place till she leaves. I would once again request everyone